Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Alex, again here with another deck profile. And this one I really like. It's real innovative and real creative. Alright, I'm going to be running over the monsters and then I'm going to be talking about why I use them. Alright, Sea Lancer, obvious, he's awesome. Title, again, obvious. We'll get to it after the thing. 3 Swap Frog, 3 Dupe Frog, 2 Poison Draw Frog, 1 Treeborn, and 2 Ronin Tonin. Malicious at 3, 3 Caius, 3 Ryza, 2 Light and Darkness, 2 Effect Feelers, 1 Gold Sark, 3 Molding of the Monarchs, 3 Enemy Controller, 1 Dark Hole, and 2 Salvage. The extra deck actually matters this time. 2 Herald of Pure Light. 2's a really good number. I wouldn't suggest 3, but 2's real good. 3 Gachi Gachi. 2 number 96 Dark Mist. 2 Photon Strike Bouncer. 1 M7. 1 Swordbreaker, and 2 Gauntlet Launcher. And the last 2 are 2 Synchros. I'm probably going to end up putting in 1 level 8 and 1 level 7, just for the Effect Feelers. I probably wouldn't run more Synchros than that, just because of the fact that Effect Feeler is Effect Feeler is my only tuner. Alright, now back onto the deck profile. Sea Lancer, I've done other Lancer Frog variants. You know the drill. It's real good. You equip some frogs, you protect it for life. It's real nice. Title, this one is new, and you can run it at 2 if you want to fit in another card. But I like it at 3. It's probably because I'm a bad player, but I like it at 3. It has some really cool combos with Poison Draw Frogs, so you can remove these and then tribute it for a Sea Lancer and instantly have 2 set up instead of having to remove 2 for Ronin Tonins that you may or may not have set up. It also adds a little bit of consistency to the deck when you don't draw the Swap Frog. I honestly think that 1 Mother Grizzly could go in this card's place, and it would be probably better, because you can use Mobia, or you can use it to crash the Sea Lancer, and you can use it to get out the Swap Frog. So that's real good. You can also use it to get a dupe block going if that is something that you have potential for. So think about Mother Grizzly. It's honestly a pretty good card. Yeah, I mean, I don't like battle searchers just because of the fact that they have to make it through 2 phases in order to get the search off, whereas something like Sangan would search out better. Yeah. But, Dupe Frog, real good. It searches out Swap Frog. That's pretty much all you use it for. Sometimes you use it to search out Treeborn if you've already got a Swap Frog, just to get more frogs in the grave. But that's pretty much all you ever do with him. Real good, though. Like, necessary for the deck. Poison Draw Frog, it has combos with Sea Lancer. Oh, you also use Poison Draw Frog as fodder for Sea Lancer, which you get the searches off with Sea Lancer. Yeah, then Treeborn, because it's a Monarch deck. Even though I am running some continuous spells down here, it's not that huge of a deal. Ronin Tonins, because Gachi Gachis and Herald of Perfect Light and Dark Mist, all of those great cards. Fantastic cards for what I'm going to talk about next. Malicious. Now, I call this Mally Frogs because of the fact that You can set up malicious with title. All right, so you can throw malicious to the graveyard with title. Then when you tribute for a monarch, you can remove the remove the malicious and then special summon a malicious and then overlay for one of these guys for free. Which is really good. It's also another way that you can get out enough tributes for Light and Darkness Dragon, which is always really nice when you can drop a lad. Doesn't happen that often, though, because it's frogs and you normally have set up for Light and Darkness anyway. But it is an option, so just remember that. Other cool things with this, you can use Effect Veiler to make a Black Rose. Which is really good because then you have Mally's live, which is nice. Mally's not dead if you draw 2 in your hand because of this card right here, Herald of Perfect Light. In fact, Mally sometimes is really nice to have in your hand when you've already got one in the grave, because you can go into this and you don't have to feel guilty about putting a Mally back in the deck. So I'll read off this card's effect, and it'll become apparent why this card is good for the deck. Takes 2 level 2 monsters. You can detach 1 XYZ material from this card, target 1 monster in your graveyard, add that, or add it to your hand, then shuffle 1 card in your hand back to the deck. You can only use this once per turn. Alright. So, basically what you do when you get Mally in the graveyard, or have Mally in the graveyard, and you want to not have one of them in your hand so you can special summon it, you basically make it with probably 2 Ronin Tonins, but sometimes a Ronin Tonin and a Swap Frog. And then you shuffle, or you add back like a Monarch or a Effect Veiler or something awesome like a Sea Lancer, and then you put Mally back in the deck. And I did a combo like yesterday where I made Herald of Perfect Light because I had no frogs left in my grave. It was a real grind game. I put the Mally back in my deck, the last Mally in my deck. Then I special summoned these 2, and it was all I had left. So last 2 frogs in the grave, I had to remove my Treeborn, and then I made Herald of Perfect Light. I was out of Gachis, I was left with Herald of Perfect Light. So I put Mally back in the deck, and then I added back a Light and Darkness Dragon. Then I removed from play the Mally in the graveyard to special summon Mally, and then I tributed for Light and Darkness Dragon and Insured Game. And at that point, it was good game. Because they had like another turn, but they were done. They were done. Dropping Lad sometimes wins games by itself. Yeah, the Monarchs are in here for this card right here, Molding of the Monarchs, and for synergy with Mally. Oh, you know what's not in here that's in my actual deck? You should try to find room to fit in a, what is he called? Dark Dust Spirit. Yeah, Dark Dust Spirit is a real good card. Real good card. You could probably take out a title for that or a Mother Grizzly. They're both real good in the deck. But, okay, so let's just run through this play. You have a Mally in the graveyard, right? And you tribute for your Caius, triggering Molding of the Monarchs. Molding of the Monarchs lets you add 1 level, or 1 monster with 2400 attack and 1000 defense, i.e. any of the Monarchs, to your hand. You use Molding the Monarchs triggers. You get the Caius removal, so you're at +2. You Mally for Gauntlet Launcher. You pop 2 of their cards, you're at a +4. So, pretty good. You make M7, you get rid of one of their powerful Exceeds, or Photon Strike Bouncer, which almost always pays for himself when you make him. So you get free negations or destructions on top of getting massive advantage off of a single tribute. Because you never neg when you get stuff with frogs. It's always like you gain a +1 and then take a -1, so that you get awesome pluses. So real good, real good. This card does conflict with Treeborn, but honestly, you could run this without Treeborn. This whole deck, you can run it without Treeborn. It's just a little less good. It's not the hugest deal. Worst comes to worst, if you have a Treeborn in the graveyard, you most likely already have a Ronin Tonin in the graveyard, and if this is on the field, you can just remove it to summon a Ronin Tonin. It's not that huge of a deal, and Sea Lancer doesn't interfere with it that bad, so, you know, I like it. I like it. Yeah, enemy controller, because taking your opponent's monsters is real good. Real good. It's nice to just snatch the biggest card that they make and then just be like, hey, you know what's my favorite card to make in Frogs? Oh, that's right. Shooting Stardust Dragon. You know how I make it? Like this. And then you play the card, and they're real salty, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, am I a dick? Then Dark Hole, because Dark Hole and 2 Salvage. This could... a real problem with this deck is that there isn't enough room. You could easily move Salvage up to 3 in exchange for something else, because of the fact that you're running 3 titles, the Swap Frogs, and all of everything. There's like almost 20 cards. I think 17 of these cards you can search with, or you can add back with Salvage. No, 15. But still, that's like half a deck. It's a really good card. The only reason you don't run 3 is because sometimes you just don't want the cards back. Honestly, a +1 could be annoying in this deck because you just have to discard it at the end of the turn. You're drawing a lot and searching a lot. It's real good. It's real good. And you're... I didn't even talk about Light and Darkness Dragon. Lad single-handedly wins games. Like, straight up, if you summon him first turn and they can't get rid of him, and they have to burn 4 cards on him, or even 3 cards, you've just gained serious advantage. They probably had to burn through staples, so you didn't just keep attacking them over and over. It's really good. Really, really good. You can run it at 3. Bear that in mind. You can run this at 3. And it doesn't interfere with anything. In fact, so much so that I'm tempted to take out one of the effect feelers for it. But effect feelers are really good because you don't... Oh, you know what's also not in here? Gores. That's also in my build. That being said, you can put up enough defensive walls with 3 Gachis and 2 Dark Mists that you don't really need that many battle stoppers, but I mean, why not run it? I'd probably pull out an effect feeler for a Gores. That being said, I do like effect feeler. Effect feeler is really good. See, here's another card that I want to put to 3 because of the fact that... But I don't have enough extra deck space, so I put it at 2. I do use it as a tuner quite often, although, truth be told, most of the time I just use it as effect feeler. Sometimes when I don't really have a good summon, I'll summon it just to make a level 7 or a level 8. Works real good with Tidal, because Tidal plus effect feeler equals a level 8. I don't know what level 8 I would put in. I'd probably put in Crimson Blader just because of how good it is against certain decks. But Stardust is also a good option, although Monarchs don't really care if their stuff gets destroyed. And also Scrap Dragon because of Treeborns and Ronins that you can just use to pop. It's real good. It's real good. Yeah, I'll probably update this deck again with the Gores and the Dark Dust as soon as I find room to cut. But yeah, until then, peace out, YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave a comment if you have any suggestions for the deck. And, yeah, leave a comment if you like the deck, too. I like hearing from you guys. Peace out, YouTube. Actually, I'm using a new recording software. I don't know how to shut you off. Oh, okay, here we go.